Hi everyone, welcome back to the AP Mobile Automation session. In our previous lecture, we covered until this 13 point where we last downloaded the Java client library. So just to start the session, I will just give you a brief recap of as of how we downloaded the Java client library for APM. So we just went to the Google Chrome browser and wrote something like this: download APM Java client, and using that we went to this link and simply downloaded this Java. I clicked on the Java link and then downloaded the client, respective client. So in my machine I have downloaded this 5.0.04 version, 5.0.4. You can use the latest one as well. Sometimes what happens is that a few things, one or two things might not work in the latest version, or you might face some problems which you won't face with the other versions. So all of that is discussed on the APM board. So whenever you are facing any problem while getting any errors while writing the code, and you just try to Google it, and if you find out, most of the times you need to revert to the previous versions where the build is a bit stable. So right now I find this 5.0.4 build very stable, so I will be using this in my session. And as of whenever we face any problems, we will try to Google the problem first and try if any other version that we use fix that problem, right? So I've just clicked on this 5.0.4 version, and after that, or you can just this 5.0.4, and corresponding to this I just want this jar file, right? So clicked on this jar file and it will download me the jar file. So it has successfully downloaded me the jar file. So this concludes our step that we need to download the Java client library. As I told you in my previous sessions also, whatever languages you are comfortable with, you can use that language in order to automate your test cases against the Android mobile. Since my most of these lectures will be covering the mobile automation test cases using the Java library, the Java language. So that is why I've downloaded the Java client library, right? So the last step says that we need to install Eclipse, right? So why Eclipse? Because there are so many IDs that are available over the browser, over the globe. So you can use any one of them. I've been using Eclipse from the starting, so I find it very comfortable to work with. So that is my personal choice, or it depends upon you. You can use other IDs as well. There are IDs such as IntelliJ or NetBeans and so on. So in order to download Eclipse, what you need to do, again, go to Google and just write download Eclipse. As soon as you write this and open the official Eclipse website, and here you can download the latest version. If your Windows is 64-bit, it would take some time. Depending upon the version you want to download. Mine is also 64-bit, but I'm not using the Eclipse Oxygen. This is the latest version. I am using, I'm using Eclipse Mars. So whatever version you download, once you have downloaded, what you will see is a folder like, you will see something like a zip file will be downloaded like this, and when you extract it, a folder will be created, and inside it you will find this Eclipse exe file. Just click on it and you will see that the Eclipse will launch. So I've just clicked on it, and you can see that the Eclipse is successfully launched. By default, it would create a workspace, because this is the first time you will be launching Eclipse. So you can choose the location where you would want to place the workspace. By default, it is coming under the users folder, and followed by the workspace folder, right? So I've just clicked on it, and let the Eclipse open up now. it might take 1 or 2 minutes or 30 to 40 seconds at the most. So as you can see, it is downloading, it is loading, and as soon as the loading is finished, Eclipse will successfully launch. We'll just wait for the loading to complete. So you don't need to panic in case it's taking time for the first time. It might take some time when you're launching it for the first time. So make sure before launching Eclipse that the Java environment variables are correctly set into your computer, because Eclipse uses Java. Eclipse is built using Java. So if the environment variables of Java are not correctly set on your computer, Eclipse won't run. It would give you an error. So this is a heads up I'm giving to you guys, that in order to launch Eclipse, first you need to correctly set up the environment variables, Java environment variables. Only then it would work. Same goes with APM. If you have not correctly set up the node module, the correctly not I mean not you have not set up the Node.js correctly, then APM would also run, right? So it is very important to set up the environment variables. So as soon as the Eclipse is launched, you will see that this blank screen would appear on your computer. Here you need to create a project so that we can start coding and automating our mobile test cases. So in order to create a new project, what you need to do is to simply go to this file drop down, and here click on new, and in this drop down select a Java project. Why Java project? Since I told you that we will be using Java, we will be using the Java language in order to automate the test cases. So I have chosen the Java project, right? And you can name your Java project as something like this, whatever you want to give, and click on next and finish, right? So by default it would create a structure like this. So basically in order to start writing the test cases, we need to create a class, right? Java class. I hope you are already aware of the Java concepts. I won't be diving much deeper into the Java concepts. I'm assuming that you have a basic knowledge of Java, which is an object-oriented programming, right? So programming language, right? So I'm just clicking on this source folder, and inside this folder I will be creating a package. Right click on it and create a new package, and I'm naming these the package as something like learnings, right? So I've just created the package, and whatever the test cases we would be automating, I would be creating each class for one of the for them. And in order to create the class, we need a package that we have already created, and under this package we'll be creating a class. Just right click on the package, and here go to new and click on class, right? So this would automatically create a new class. So for the first program, I'm just creating a class known as the demo class, just giving it a name as demo, right? So now I've done creating the new class, and here see, you can see the class has been successfully created. So in order to start writing code, as we know that the basic function that gets called whenever a class is invoked is the first function which gets called is the main function. I'm just creating a main function, as this. And now whatever the code that we'll be writing under this main function, right? All the APM code will be writing here. So as you can see, since all of this APM code will be writing here, our Eclipse doesn't know anything about APM. So there must be a way that we need to connect Eclipse to the APM Java client library which we downloaded. even then, yeah, only then it would make sense that okay, Eclipse would recognize everything which is written inside those libraries. We can use the functions which are present inside those libraries, like when you want to click a button, or enter text into a text field in our Android application. All those functions are written inside the Java client which we downloaded, right? So we need to use that Java client in our Eclipse, so that our Eclipse will understand, okay, all these functions are written inside this Java client, and similarly those functions can be used in our test cases. So in order to integrate our Java client, APM Java client with Eclipse, what we need to do is to go to the project's build path. And how do we go to the project's build path? Just right click on it, go to properties, and here you will find the Java build path, right? Inside the Java build path, you can just click on the libraries tab, and in the libraries tab, what you need to click on is add external jars. Here you will be adding the APM Java client, right? As you can see, automatically it has downloaded the Java client inside my downloads folder. So I'll be just importing this jar file into my project, right? And click on apply. So now whatever APM code I write, my Eclipse will be able to recognize it, only because I have included that jar file in my project's build path, right? Apart from this APM Java client, we also need to import the Selenium jars. Why? The question is, why do we need to also import the Selenium Java jars, right? It is because we might come across some scenarios where a mobile inside the mobile application, an inbuilt browser gets invoked, and we need to deal with the web elements. So as we know that Selenium is a tool which is used to automate anything over the web browser. So a click on the web browser, all those functions are written inside the Selenium jars. So in order to face those situations, we need to import the Selenium jars as well, so that whenever we face the situation of a browser being opened inside the native application, so we can simply use these Selenium jars, the functions which are present inside the Selenium jars, and using them we can automate the scenario whatever we have in front of us at that point of time, right? So in order to download the in order to import the Selenium jars in our project, the method is the same, but first of all you need to download Selenium. As you downloaded the APM Java client, similarly we need to first download the Selenium as well. So you just need to go to Google and just write download Selenium, right? And go to the official Selenium website, and here you can just go to the Java library, right? Here you can see Java, C#, Ruby, Python, all those bindings are available. Since we are interested in Java, we just need to click on download, and it will download. So once the Java has been downloaded, Selenium in Java has been downloaded, you will see a folder like this, something like this. I'll just show you. P drive, personal softwares, and here you can see Selenium. So the folder, you will see a folder, something, a zip file like this, 3.9, Selenium 3.9. I have downloaded Selenium 3.9. Here you can see the version, latest version is 3.11, right? But I have downloaded 3.9 since I'm comfortable using it. So once you have downloaded the Selenium from the browser, now you need to configure those Selenium jars onto your project, and in order to do so, you just need to go to your project and just right click on it and go to properties, and I will just remove it since I've already added it. I'm just removing it so that I can explain it to you clearly. Like previously we imported this Java APM Java client, right? Now we need to import the Selenium jars as well. So in order to import them, just go to the folder where the Selenium is downloaded. In my case, I've put this folder inside this path, and here you will see the Selenium folder, right? And just import these two jars which are present outside the library folder, and also the jars which are present inside the library folder, right? And once all the jars have been imported, just click on apply and click on OK. So now your project is fully configured with APM Java clients as well as the Selenium Java clients. So now whatever code you write here, Eclipse will interpret it clearly, understand it, and once you have written all the code, that code would be run against the mobile device you aim to run against, and that's it, guys. This is how we set up the this is how we configure all the Java clients with Eclipse. So now just let's go to the document and try to understand a quick recap as of what we have done until now. So successfully have done this step as well, right? The last step which says start APM server, when we'll be actually writing a test case and running it against the virtual device, I'll show you how to start the APM server, right? I've already explained it in one of the previous sessions, but don't worry, we'll be doing it again. And just to give a quick recap, from the beginning we started downloading Java, and as soon as we downloaded the Java, we set up the environment variables. I told you why the Java environment variables are important, because Eclipse, one of the factors is that the Eclipse won't run if you have not configured the Java variables correctly. Then we have downloaded the Android Studio, and inside the Android Studio, the main reason of downloading the Android Studio is to create a virtual device. And since Android Studio also installs the SDK, all the SDK files, Android SDK, so it is mainly used to create the virtual device. When we created the virtual device and downloaded the Android Studio, we also made sure that we have already set up all the Android environment variables as well. Like we created the Android underscore home variable, and we also gave path to folders like platform tools and tools, right, inside the path environment variable, right? And then we also successfully created the emulator and started using it by clicking on the green play button. One also trick I told you about is if you want to open the emulator directly from the command prompt, you just need to write the command as emulator avd and followed by the whatever the name of your virtual device, right? So that was one way, but you need to execute this command only after going into the platform tools folder, right? I've told you in my previous sessions, right? And we also covered how to download Node.js, configure it environment variables. Why we need Node.js is because as I explained it, that the APM is built and written in Node.js, and it also is one of the modules of Node.js. So you can simply download it using the npm install APM, right? And in this session we covered how to download the Java APM Java client, right? And the APM server we downloaded using the npm module, right? And we also have configured the successfully configured the APM Java client in our Eclipse project in this session. So from next session we are ready to write the basic our first basic test case that would be running against our virtual device. So guys, I hope everything is clear until now, and I will see you in the next session. Thank you for watching.